So today I want to talk about intuition. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Raj Garcia. I help people to slow down their minds and to get clarity and really create whatever the hell they want in life. No limits, like seriously, no limits. So intuition, that word is so funny to me because for a long time in my life, I was just like, what the hell is this thing? I thought it was something only women say and women know about because they say women's intuition, right? And I was like, okay, cool, it's a woman thing. I don't need to know about this. And I find a lot of people like agree with me on this, that they don't really understand what this intuition thing is. They say, yeah, sometimes I get this feeling inside, but for some reason that word doesn't stick for everyone. Some people it does, but here's my experience I'm going to share with you. So this thing called intuition, I didn't understand it all of my life because I was living in thinking and feeling and psychological world, let's call it. So intuition doesn't exist in that world because intuition is this feeling. It's just this sense, this knowing. And you see how I just hit my heart. I didn't even know why, but this is where it seems to come from. And actually it's all of this energy that's going through this whole spine. Now I understand, because the path that I've been on, and call it the yogic path or spiritual path, I don't even know if it's that anymore. Just this life path, let's call it. This wisdom and this growth. It's helped me to realize that this thing called intuition is just my energy lit up. It's this thing which doesn't require knowledge or intellect. Intellect is one thing. Intellect is your collection of thoughts and beliefs and memories, things that you've collected over time. It's like if this room was filled with boxes of everything that's happened in my life, that's where intellect operates. It's like a person. Imagine intellect was this person. I don't know, for some reason I'm imagining him with glasses on and looking like a geek. Imagine this intellect was a person and they were only able to look through these boxes of your life. That's what intellect is using knowledge, experiences. It's limited in nature. That's all it knows. All it knows is what it knows. It can't leave this room. It doesn't know anything more than that. Imagine that person was locked in this room their whole life. That's all they know. Hope this is settling in for you now. Intuition, or I like to call it sometimes wisdom, or silent awareness. This is the thing that's outside the room. It's the unknown. But let's say this whole house is me. Let's say this whole planet is me as well. There's stuff outside that I don't really intellectually know, but there's this connection. For example, I see, I'm walking down the street and I see some people having fun, some kids kicking a football around and laughing and joking. Yeah, I feel something. I'm like, yeah, that's fun. That's cool. Sometimes it might be because I remember a time that I felt like that. Sometimes it's just this connection to life. Even things like trees and the planet. And why do people love traveling so much? What's so amazing about it? I've asked people this because I want them to go deep, and they're like, I don't really know, Raj. I'm like, come on, dig deeper. And they're like, yeah, it's the nature. What is it about the nature? I've made them go so deep. And then they say something like, it's the life in the nature. It's this connection that these things are living. So there's this thing. It's almost like if I add a piece of string, I'm connected to that and that and that and all of that. So there's this boundless potential in wisdom and intuition. It's just a knowing. It's not a knowing by memories, it's just a knowing, a feeling. And I get lost sometimes with this, and it's almost like I can't just, yeah, it's hard to describe sometimes. But hopefully you're getting what I'm saying. It's a feeling. Some people call it gut feeling. And there's all this science now, which is proving gut is a brain, right? And yoga knew about this thousands of years ago, by the way. It's not just this gut that has a brain, also in the heart. They've proven there's neurons in here. So that means that there is a part of a brain in here and in here. But then people get obsessed with that. They make this into an obsessive thing, a physical thing, like I've got to clean my gut microbiome, and that's all the rage these days, gut microbiome. But really it's an energy system. That's why you sense it. And yeah, the food that you consume is around that area. So there is a connection. I'm not writing anything off. I'm just saying sometimes it's obsessive. Anyway, there is some energy there in the heart, in the throat, in this area. People sometimes call that the third eye. Down here as well, there's some energy. It's all brains. If you even ask neuroscientists, they would say that we don't just have this brain up here, this head. It's a whole system. And then there's much more that they can't even prove yet, which is what I'm talking about here, this intuition thing. You can't prove that. But you know, right? It's those feelings where you're like, I just know. And here's been my experiences about it. For me, it was just all head. And I'm saying head again, but I'm talking about thinking, analyzing, trying to figure out, all of the stuff which is based around anxiety, you can call it. Just trying to figure stuff out. Like a machine. It doesn't make sense, does it? That's not who we are. If you've ever asked anyone, what's the best moments of your life? They would never say, when I was trying to figure this thing out, oh, that was so enjoyable, this figuring out stuff. No, they will say these moments where I was, I don't know, with someone here, or I was seeing this thing, or this happened. These feelings inside, those amazing moments. So thinking gets us in a lot of trouble. It got me in a lot of trouble for sure. A lot of people I talk to, actually everyone I talk to, everyone, from someone who is managing teams and having an amazing job, from someone who's an entrepreneur, from someone who's whatever, right? Everyone is challenged by their thoughts. It's a universal. But it blocks so much off. It's definitely like that for me. Trying to control everything, trying to be perfect in everything, judging and looking at other people, because that's what the intellect does. It's for sorting information out. If you think of it as a knife, it cuts things. It says, this is me, this is you. So I compare me against you. That's what thinking does. That's what analyzing is, right? It's this versus that. It's comparisons. That's why it doesn't help. That's why it causes all this stress. And it says, I'm here, I want to get to this future, I need to work this out, or this past, this happened before. It's using this information, slicing and dicing it, and making this almost computer system kind of algorithm, just like you see on Facebook and social media. They build these algorithms based on browsing history. They're saying we have browsing history. So our thoughts are using our browsing history to put ads in our face, in our minds, and say, here's the ads. So that's the challenge. And back to intuition, this started kicking in for me when I was practicing yoga, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know it was intuition. Only now I can just barely say that word. Because like I said, at the beginning, I was confused about this word called intuition, which seems kind of fancy, and it seems like this fancy thing that only women or spiritual leaders or people can feel. No, everyone has this capability. And I would consider myself quite logical. As you can see in my videos, I try to give examples and be logical about stuff. But that's why I found it tricky. But when I started yoga, I was more in the being mode. The being mode allows you to stop this analyzing. You're just okay with this. You're just okay. You're just like, yeah, I'm okay just eating my food. I'm okay. Like this is nice. The being mode. Everyone goes into it, by the way. Everyone goes into this. Like, how do you fall asleep? Because at some point you surrender. You stop doing stuff. So everyone can do this. This is not special. But if you can tap into this more, you can hone your ability to sense it and you can be in being more. Wow, like this is when it kicks off. It's what happened for me. So it's funny because here's a few examples. I used to lift a lot of weights. I used to be wanting to be big, right? That was my mind telling me. That was my mind and its fears and things that it didn't have, saying I need to do this to get this. It's like if I have these muscles, I feel great. I feel confident. Yes, I look good. Look in the mirror. Wow, look at you, Raj. Just chase. But as soon as I started yoga and practicing slowing down and becoming more peaceful, I was like, I just want to do stuff that feels good. I enjoy. Makes me happy on the inside. Lights me up. That became my focus, right? Started traveling. And I'm missing a chunk of the story because I had a lot of anxiety, by the way. So check my other videos if you want to learn a bit more depth about that and how I went from this person who was judging constantly and in fear to becoming blissful. But for this video, to cut the long story short, I went traveling. And when I was out there, I was able to follow like my instinct, my wisdom. And wisdom is not like people sometimes get this mixed up and say, yeah, I know what's going to happen because this happened before. That's not wisdom, to me anyway, not in this context. What I mean is just this like knowing that this feels like a good thing to do. Let me do this, even though I've never done it. Let's go for it. I just got a feeling. So I was just going with the flow. I was rocking up to places and I didn't even have nights booked in places when I was going to certain countries. I just showed up with a backpack. Hey, can I stay here? Do you have a space? They're like, yeah, sure. Here's the money. Simple. But it's not always that easy because there's the mind, right? But the more I did this, the more I started sensing like being okay in this mode, being okay in this mode of I can just let myself go with this feeling. I don't need to plan because there's that conflict of, okay, maybe I got to plan this. Maybe I should do this because if I don't do this, this is going to happen. Fear that the mind creates, fear-based intellect, memories. Remember I said about that guy in the room with the boxes? That's him. That's the mind speaking. But when you are with intuition, you're just going with what your feelings are. Here's a few other examples which have come up actually in the last few years, which are crazy examples for me. I used to be obsessed with eating meat and I love meat. I was like, yeah, let's go get this and that and that. Obsessed. So much so that I had to eat it in every meal. Just went nuts. What happened was, as I went deeper into this growth, this inner growth, firstly, I started losing a lot of weight, like without trying. I was eating the same amounts, but I was losing weight like crazy because my body was releasing all of this stuff it didn't need. It was just happening. And of course, I was doing a lot more yoga. I was eating better, but I lost a ton of weight naturally. Unhealthy even, it looked, but I felt great. And that was just my body's intuition. It wasn't even anything I needed to do. My body just knew this. It doesn't need this weight. It doesn't need this amount of muscle. This is not you anymore, Raj. So it dropped it, and I felt great. And when I was talking about meat earlier, I didn't need to eat meat anymore. I didn't desire it anymore. I didn't have any desire to, okay, I need some meat right now. Because most of that was coming from the mentality of, I got to be big or whatever, or I got to get enough protein. This protein obsession that we have in life these days. Protein, protein. All the foods I look at is all protein based now. And I would have loved that when I was really bodybuilding. I would have been obsessed and gotten everything. But it's just this thing that I had for a while of this protein obsession. When the thing is, like, there's so many more healthier things than that, like fruits and vegetables. So I was eating more of that naturally. Just, it felt good. I wasn't trying. I wasn't like, oh, I've got to eat more fruits and vegetables. It just, my body was just saying, yeah, I want more of this. This feels good. I didn't have to do anything. I was just going with what I was sensing. That intuition was just coming through. Yeah, just eat these things. You don't need this anymore. It's like the mind was saying, no, 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 you got to eat protein, you got to eat meat. But I was just like, let me listen to this other voice. This is telling me something which feels like it makes more sense. And it feels true. That's the point, actually, I want to drive home. It feels true. It feels like an effortless voice, a little quiet, massaging, soothing voice saying, hey, do this. Like, this is what you really want. And like the old me would never have got this. It would have rejected that voice for sure. This me is like, yeah, man, I'm going to listen to you because you definitely know you're the truth. So I've been doing that more. The food, the meat, it was just like, I don't need this anymore. I haven't eaten meat for a while. Maybe I will someday. I'm not a person who's going to put these strict laws against myself and say, no, 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 this is bad because of this religion or whatever, or this thing. I'm not putting that nonsense into my brain and doing things based on that. But I'm just doing whatever feels good, whatever this feeling comes through. So maybe I'll eat meat someday. I don't know. Don't call me a vegetarian because I don't know. I don't need that label. I'm not going to walk around saying, hey, I'm a vegetarian. Yeah, look at me. No, it's just what I'm feeling right now. So that happened. Here's the other one crazy thing that happened to me. I stopped wanting to swear or use any foul language. And I only noticed this after a while. I was just like, wow, I'm speaking so much differently. People have actually messaged me. They're like, Raj, did your voice just change one day when you went down this path of growth? And I have to think about that for a moment. And it's, no, the voice didn't change, but this voice is much more freer. There's no effort. I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. I'm not thinking about anything right now. It's just coming through. So the voice became like this pure, easy voice. I'm not like, I'm going to say it one more time. I don't have to think at all. It's just coming through. It's just flowing, flowing, flowing. If there's any time I'm thinking, you'll see like there'll be like this this moment in between where there's this pause and a confused face comes on or something. No, there's no thoughts. And I stopped swearing. I stopped using that language because I don't know, it just felt filthy to me, felt disgusting. And I know when I was younger, teachers used to say, don't use that foul language. Of course, I wouldn't have listened. So it's not anything to do with listening to anyone or thinking is bad or judging anyone else that uses foul language. I don't care. I don't care what anyone else does. That's fine with me. But it just doesn't feel nice to me. It feels like I'm saying disgusting things. There's no need, I guess, really, is what I'm trying to say. There's no need for that. There's much more beautiful language out here. And I'm really enjoying expressing myself. That's another thing that's come with this intuition, this wisdom-based mode. It's just, I just felt like, yeah, I don't like swear words anymore. And it only kicked in after. I was like, yeah, I don't swear anymore. Wow, that's what's changed. Okay, interesting. So the food, the way I was eating and seeing food, now I see it as energy, life force. And before I was seeing it as I get this thing from it. I get this protein or whatever. And then the meat, and then the swearing. Here's the other thing which changed. I started becoming so interested in sound. Like all of these things have just happened, right? I didn't plan, I didn't want any of this. It just came. Sound became amazing to me. I started listening to like Indian music that my mum would be listening to, that kind of stuff that I'd hear her when I was younger. It just sounds amazing. These drum beats and these special instruments and this chanting, this sacred chanting, it just was like, I can't even describe it. It was just vibrating through my whole body. It was just feeling amazing. So I stopped listening to all the music I listened to before. It just sounds like nonsense to me now. Like anything that is not anything that's not like some kind of energetic music, it doesn't make sense to me anymore. So my whole perception of sound changed. It's just insane. It's just one day I was like, oh, this is cool. And it just developed. So this thing called intuition, like this mode of being, I'm calling it, it's just sensing, like this feels good. Let's go for this. Let's do this. It's like if you were at a menu, or you saw a menu, sorry, at a restaurant, and you're just like, yeah, that's the one. I want to get that, without having to think too much about what else is here. No, I want that. Let's go for that. Great, let's do it. Simple, right? There's no stress. It's just I just know this is what I want. It's like when you go shopping one day and then you look at a few. Let's say you see one coat that you really like, and you're like, yeah, that's the one. But I'm gonna go and see all the other shops first because there might be something better, there might be something, and then you come back to that one because you're like, you know what, it was always the one. I don't know why I ever thought about anything else. It's just that knowing, just like make it simple, just go for it, go for that. Why do you have to analyze everything? Maybe you will find a different coat, and coats are not a great example sometimes, but you get what I'm saying. Plants as well. Like you see the plants in the background. I was just like, plants and trees are so cool. And there was just this knowing that I'm connected to everything. There was this shift. It was like, wow, like I understand my connection to the elements, to all of nature, to people. It's like I can literally feel it now. None of that was there before. It was like I was blind. It's like I was blinded throughout my whole life. And I thought about this to myself. I was like, I lived like a very closed, limited life. Like there's so much potential in all these things I've talked about. So yeah, it's just amazing to realize what this shift can make. What this shift can make for someone's life is insane. Like you can see this stuff and you get more creative. That's the other thing, actually. Let me go into that. Creativity has been insane. I'm not worried about anything. I'm just doing stuff like this video. I'm just doing this video. I'm just creating things without trying. It's just coming. I get my pen and then write, and then great, awesome. Like when I'm leading a meditation, people ask me like, oh, did you prepare for that? Or even this talk right now. I didn't prepare for any of this. When I guide a meditation, I don't prepare for any of it. I'm just going with what's coming up for me. And that's, again, intuition. This is coming up for me. Feeling this, I'm sensing this. There's no plan needed because I'm great in this moment. I'm great. I just know. It's such a powerful thing. And I would never have imagined this being possible, right? And here's the thing, it's not just me that can have this. This is our human potential. This is evolution. This has been given to us. This is the natural way, actually. It's not natural to analyze stuff. It's not, even if you think it is. So if you can do this, like get to this place of intuition, presence, this creative power, like you're being just you're tapping into your fullest potential. It's freeing, it's empowering, and everything else you can think of, everything becomes better. So intuition, wow, it's like such a topic. And like I said at the beginning, I wouldn't have even, I didn't relate to this word for a while, but now I just know it's just this knowing. It's just like I know. When I meet people sometimes, it's just like, I know that we've got a good connection right now. And I'm not writing anyone off either. It's just that I know in these moments, in this exact moment when they say something, yeah, I feel that. Then something else might develop, something else might change. And here's the thing, like I said earlier, sometimes people think they have intuition, but it's fake intuition, it's emotions. It's, oh, I can feel it, but no, that's your emotions sometimes. So you got to be careful there between psychological mind, which you think is intuition, versus real intuition, which is just this knowing. It doesn't relate to any experiences from the past. It's just like, I just know. Like, how would I know that how would I know that eating meat, I didn't want to do it anymore? I didn't know. I just felt it in my stomach. I was like, I don't want this anymore. I want to eat this good stuff. This feels good to eat. So it became effortless. These videos. Anything I do now, anyone I speak to, I'm just going with this feeling. So imagine how good that can be for your life. Like, seriously. You can just hone in on this thing. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'm feeling this. Let's go. Let's do it. Done. I enjoy it as well. Things you enjoy. That's usually what it is. It's usually that you know that you're going to enjoy this. You just know. And I've said that a few times. So I would love to know what comes up for you when you hear this. And this is really, really going into all of this depths of spiritual teachings out there. Hinduism, Buddhism, all of them are teaching this stuff. I'm just explaining it in a very simple way, so you didn't have to go and read these scriptures and stuff. That's what I did. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to know and read everything. But it was only when I started experiencing it and saying, okay, this is what I'm experiencing. Oh yeah, that's what they were talking about. Okay, I get it now. It wasn't intellectually understanding by reading the Bhagavad Gita, for example. It was just something different. So what else comes up for you? That's my invitation for you. What comes up for you after you've listened to me say all of this? Is there some intuition inside you saying, oh yeah, maybe there's this thing I'm feeling. Maybe there's this thing I should be doing right now. Maybe should's not a good word, because should usually comes from the mind. The judgment, shoulding on yourself. Instead, what if there's this sense, this feeling that, yeah, I want to do this. So how about you do that? How about you take one little tiny action on that little intuition you're feeling? After you've heard me, maybe something's lit up inside you. That happens sometimes when you're watching someone else. Something lights up inside you too. So if it has, then what can you do? What's one little thing that you can do in your life to listen to this little spark inside you? And drop me a message. I want to hear what this is. I want to hear your reflections after watching this, because this has been actually quite an enjoyable video for me to make. This has allowed me to reflect on all the things that have come up for me. There's a few more actually. I can't think of them right now, or they're just not coming up for me right now. Maybe not thinking. It's probably a few more. but I'll leave it for now. Oh, there is one that just came up. My hair. I grew my hair. I didn't grow my hair out of a plan for my hair to grow or look good. Like that did not come up at all. Especially because it didn't look good most of the time. But there was just this knowing that this hair has to grow. And I remember a long time ago, for years, I was like, I really want to try long hair. I didn't do it for a while. So maybe it wasn't meant to be before, but now it's just like this hair just grew. I didn't plan to grow it. I haven't cut it like at all. I haven't cut or trimmed or nothing. Some people ask me that I haven't done anything to it. And it was just this thing, this feeling, yeah, let's just let this hair grow, it's fine. So that's another example. And I just love this, and I want to carry on living like this. Anyone I talk to and work with, I've helped them to hone this, they've seen massive changes in their life, because really you're working from a heart-based place. You're working with your energy inside, the real you, let's just call it to simplify it. The truest you, the one that feels joy, the one that is lit up, the one that does what it wants to do and it enjoys free time, that's you. So anything comes up for you and you want to drop me a message, just write to me. Write to me with your key insight. And if there's anything you'd like me to help you with, there's a few guides I can send you, documents and a few videos, or we can have a conversation. So I'll leave it there and enjoy the rest of your day.